Will we see a major upset in the first round? Will Beast Mode return home? How are the Astros and Rangers faring in the young season? And how has Davis Martin's injury impacted Tech baseball? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle.
The Milwaukee Bucks stole Game 1 in Toronto to jump out to the 1-0 series lead, but Toronto bounced back in Game 2 to even up the series. In Boston, the Chicago Bulls raced out to a 2-0 series lead on the Celtics. Billy, can either one of these teams pull out the first-round upset?
I think it's definitely possible that both teams can. I think it's a little bit shocking that actually Chicago's got this 2-0 lead over Boston, especially them coming in the 1 seed. But besides Isaiah Thomas, has been playing fairly well as normally as nothing spectacular, but nothing short of what he normally does. The rest of the team is just really getting exposed. I remember us saying, they don't really have a lot of shooters on that team.
I mean, they have Avery Bradley, but he's not really known as a shooter.
I wouldn't. Obviously
he's gotten better in his career,
he's
but
improved,
not
you wouldn't
good.
call him a knockdown shooter. And I don't think anybody on that team you would call a knockdown shooter.
Kelly Olynyk, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, he's about the only guy that I can think that shoots a higher percentage.
And he does shoot a high percentage, but saying that you can't have your highest percentage shooting player or jump shooter be one of your big men like that.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit on the other side with the Bucks and the Raptors. I think the first game, when the Bucks took hold of that game, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he just really Antetokounmpo. Gosh,
it's a word twister right there.
It is, but he really just showed what he was made of. I think he caught the Raptors off guard by just doing what he did.
It was in front of a national audience. I mean, how many times do we get to see the Bucks in a national TV market? And he put on a show, and I watched him for a full game for the first time, and I thought, man, this guy, he really is a superstar in this league.
I mean, he is. You see him doing it all, rebounding, assisting, scoring.
And dunking with his feet on the ground while holding onto the rim.
So, it's pretty spectacular seeing a guy that big dribble the ball. We haven't seen that in quite a while. So, I mean, but in coming into this, I think Boston can turn it around and, go into Chicago and get 2 wins out of them and then come back. But that's going to be awfully tough for them, and I think Chicago definitely has a better chance of upsetting more than Milwaukee does.
I agree. I think we didn't really expect this because Rondo, Wade, and Butler, they really didn't truly mesh in the season, but Rondo and Wade, they show up in the postseason. They really do, and I think this team it could be dangerous in the postseason because of that. Jimmy Butler is a superstar in this league, in my opinion, or a budding superstar. I wouldn't really put him in the top tier yet, but I do think they have the best chance. I think Toronto will overpower the Bucks because they have more star power on that team.
Yeah. Marshawn Lynch and the Oakland Raiders are reportedly in talks, but a deal doesn't seem likely in the immediate future. Kyle, does this deal get done, and is this the right move for the Raiders?
I think it's the right move for the Raiders. I don't have a problem with it. I would like to see Marshawn Lynch come back. He has 9,122 yards on his career. But it's tough because he is still under contract with Seattle. So if he does come back, they're going to have to work out a deal between them and Oakland to get him to Oakland. But I think it'd be good for them. The running back situation isn't terrible. They have DeAndre Washington and Jalen Richard left, and Washington was strong at the end of the year. Richard had a great year as well. So it would improve them. He doesn't have to be the same back he was with Seattle, which I think will help him at his age because he is getting older. He did sit out a year, and his last season with Seattle was a little rough.
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I think he does end up in Oakland, and I do like the move. I think this works out best for both parties. Yeah. With Oakland getting rid of Latavius Murray, his departure to the Vikings, that leaves.
And Adrian Peterson's still out there too. So
I
don't know if they're really looking at him, but I'm saying as free agent wise, there's another running back out there.
He is still an option out there, but I just think Marshawn Lynch, this is good feel. He's going back home. He's from Oakland. He played at Cal. This just makes total sense for him. And it would be nice for the Oakland Raiders to get a hometown guy there right before they head out to Las Vegas, which we know is coming up soon.
He'll play for about 2 seasons and
exactly.
then bounce out when they go become Las Vegas. The Houston Astros and Texas Rangers have been battling for the AL West crown for the past 2 seasons, and many expect both of them to be in the hunt again. Billy, let's talk about how these teams have fared thus far. You start with the Rangers.
Well, I'll tell you much right now. If we keep playing like we're playing, we're not going to be contending for any title, and we're honestly going to be looking at maybe hit the bottom of the league. If we keep playing this way
potentially
right now,
selling some players off too in the trade market.
This is that might be maybe this is something that we just have to end up
Darvish is in a
rebuilding.
Contract year. Maybe you move him at the deadline if you can't get back into contention by then.
And then we've already got a lot of young guys. Mazara over here. He's one of our playing some of our best ball, and also one of our youngest players. So, but it's really just come down a lot of our bullpen. Sam Dyson has just let us down time and time again. He had 27 ERA. His earned run average is through the roof. I mean,
and he pitched so well in the World Baseball Classic too.
Exactly. So you didn't think? I mean, obviously no one thought that Sam Dyson was an amazing closer, but what he's been playing as of late is it's god awful. And
he's on the DL now. They made sure they found a way to move him down.
I mean, they had to get rid of that because game after game, you just knew whenever when he come in, he had nothing that was fooling anybody, and it was pretty upsetting to watch.
Yeah, and I'm not going to brag yet because, the Rangers and Astros haven't played each other. We know who dominated that series last year, but the Astros are out to a great start, 10-5 right now.
Springer's killing the league with home runs.
He sure is, man. The leadoff homers that he has. Altuve got to an extremely slow start, and you kind of wonder, man, maybe this is the year he falls off, and then he goes 11 straight on base appearances. So, what he's done has been amazing. He's hitting over 300 again, 328. I love the addition of Nori Aoki. He plays here and there in left field, but he's been really good for them, hitting 324. Brian McCann, I think, is the most underrated free agent pickup the Astros made. Or, excuse me, they traded for him from the Yankees. But 289, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. But that doesn't speak volumes to what he's done, especially behind the plate, helping the younger pitchers. Dallas has been extremely good this year. He's putting up Cy Young numbers again, 3-0 with a .96 ERA. And to me, he almost looks better than he did his Cy Young season as of now. It's still early.
Very early.
15, 16 games
but
in the year.
It's good to see one of your best pitchers getting off such a good start.
And then Lance, he'd been roughed up a little bit, but he looked good. He's looked good. Josh Reddick was good for them too. So I like where the Astros are at. Carlos Beltran's made an impact as well. So I like where they're at. I think the Rangers will get it going. Beltre will come back soon from the DL.
Gallo's just been, hopefully Gallo can turn around. Third base has really not been playing very well.
I think the Rangers will get back in contention, but there is a possibility if they don't, they may trade off and start selling some guys in free agent in the trade market.
And this could all just, a cut one or two pitchers could, change this whole season. The bats will come around. They do have hitters on that season. It is a very long season. Texas Tech baseball continues to find ways to win despite missing their Friday night starter in Davis Martin. Martin has been out since late March but could be back soon. Kyle, how has the team been impacted thus far without Martin, and how important is it that he is able to come back and healthy?
Well, the wins hasn't really been impacted. Texas in 32-8 right now. It's tied for second in the conference at 8-4, game back at TCU. And that's more impressive in itself to be only a game back behind TCU because you're missing your Friday night starter.
Exactly.
And, Davis Martin is one of the best pitchers in college baseball last year. He's one of the best again this year, in my opinion. I think Gingrey has had the better year thus far, but he's also pitched a little longer now due to the injury.
Yeah.
But Martin's been out since the Oklahoma series. They ended up losing that first series or first game without him, and they ended up losing that series as well. But he comes in with a 2.57 ERA, and you're losing on 6 innings every Friday. So your bullpen's being taxed. The bullpen is really being taxed right now. We're seeing guys that probably weren't going to pitch very much this year. They're coming in, they're pitching innings, and Tadlock's had the thing where on Friday, he's going to switch guys every 2 innings, stuff like that. We saw Jacob Patterson start last Friday. So the bullpen's definitely being taxed, and I think that could hurt Tech. But right now it hasn't, and I think once Davis Martin does come back, we hope he comes back, I think they'll be fine going forward.
Yeah, like you said, it has the ability to hurt Tech, but, so far, we haven't seen a major drop-off. Yeah. Obviously when we do get him back, that is going to shore up that rotation that we have.
Well, and the ERA in the bullpen has gone up just a little bit, but it's because they're pitching more innings and they're seeing more. You don't normally do that when you're in the bullpen.
Exactly, and you're having relievers and you're having guys that are normally only pitching 1 to 2 innings. You're pitching them 3. You're pitching them at the beginning of games. They're out of
pitching them more than one game.
And this has a lot to do with all this, but just like you said, it hasn't impacted us that far win-wise. We're still second in the conference, but coming
top 5 in the country
still. It's still been a great season for the guys, and I think going into Oklahoma State this weekend, that's going to be big going there. We'll see how we fare this weekend, and then like you said, we got TCU coming up in 2 weeks, so that's going to be one of the biggest matchups that I think we're anticipating. And not only that, both of these series are pretty much sold out.
Yeah, so, and TCU was sold out for about, I think, the last month or so. Oklahoma State, the first 2 games, Friday, Saturday, they're sold out. So these are 2 really big home series. Tech also has 3 of their next 4 Big 12 conference series at home, which is big for them. They always play much better at home. Obviously, they play well on the road, too. Yes. You're not 32-8 if you can't play on the road. So I think Texas Tech baseball is fine. You hope Davis Martin, we've heard maybe next week he's going to start throwing again. So if you get him back by postseason, I think Tech can still make a run.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big name stories in sports. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle. Until next time.